What are the differences between the information technology and the IS, information systems? Actually, it's a very vast question, but we can briefly answer that, defining both of them. The information technology is actually technology that services the users. A chair is a technology, a computer is a technology, information system, sorry, an operating system operating within a computer is a technology, and so on. So the technology, it's a service and utility that gives actually a service to a user. Clear. We are not having a functionality that has no outcome. Yet, when we compare it with an information system, it's a bulk of utilities gathered all together to finalize a task. An operating system, it is not a button. An operating system is a list of thousands and thousands of commands to operate all together to provide you what you see in a screen. So the information system, it's a concatenation. It's just a gathering of procedures working together to finalize a task. Information system. It's a systematic approach of a process. Something like that. Clear. So you can view it this way. Information actually systems usually here in our the same context. It's a secret behind digitalizing the businesses and going beyond the regular and traditional business based on the paperwork. We defined so many features and we recognize what is the information technology clearly. We saw that there is actually a reciprocal view in between the information technology and the businesses. And thus we decide what are the information systems and what are the technology required even. And we're given so many examples, and I insist on the real cases examples, the UAE or the Souq Oman or something like that, because they are real successful businesses delivered over the digital environment. Technically and let's say fundamentally, we define the context of what is a business or what is an organization, and we define the main, the abstract behavior of information system within a digital environment. Here we define actually an abstract view. It's not the detailed view of how an information system is actually run. It is said the microeconomic, actually micro, let's say environment, but in this micro we are hiding many tiny other functionalities that they are actually very clear and very successful and very recognized and stressful also. From the same view, which is the reciprocal relationship in between the environment and the information technology, there are politics that the organization imposes to make the business run, because moving from a paperwork into a digital work, an e-service, paper service into an e-service, it's not a matter of just creating an application or creating a system and that's it. No, there are constraints and there are variants imposed by different, let's say, inferiors, and most of them the politics imposed by the company, the social culture where the company is planted. They have to be actually considered to generate the digital version of the service. It's not just a paper to represent it in an e format. No, there are formalities that have to be actually imposed. Mainly we talk about the company rules, because the company will respect the culture and the environment where it is planted, and thus it would consider them as politics for the company itself. Thus, they are the politics of the company, which are the main constraints to consider to move from an input to an output. So this is the context of the digitalization. Digitalization actually it is a matter of going beyond a better service, delivering a better service. Absolutely true. But for the first priority, it's not to deliver better service, to get a better revenue, to make a better wealth. So to be successful is to gain, to make more gain, to gain the customers, the loyalty of the customers and the suppliers, to make more sales and things like that. So it's not only to move to digitalize, to get digitalized, and that's it. There is a revenue later on. It has to be seen. Thus, we talk about the features of an organization or features of a company or a firm. Starts, according to the view, it starts with the hierarchy of the departments operating together inside the organization. Then decisions and commands to be imposed, how it is, how they are actually made and how they are actually considered to be accountable, the decision making. Also, from the feature of the company in question, the size of the adherence to the politics. The size of the adherence to the politics. There are so many politics, for example, set by the University of Niswa. The level of the adherence, they got stick to those politics completely. The level, the adherence to those principles and those actually politics. The company has businesses and has services to be delivered. Those services, they are at the end of the day, they are procedures to do. They are routines to do. So how those routines they actually manifested and what are they, even they represent the features of the company at the end of the day, and all is considered and controlled by the list of politics, we can say, imposed by the administration of the company, but the administration is considering other alternatives, other constraints to build the list of the politics and the principles. In the same regard, those routines and those policies and those procedures the company is imposing on the workers and on the clients, they are coming from different resources. Most of them, the politics of the company, the internal politics, the surrounding culture, the surrounding, let's say, culture, yes, and social impact, and things like that. So all of them, they actually to be used to build the routines that they make the services to be run and to continue operating the company. A routine is a procedure. A business process is a collection of routines. A business firm is a list of processes. Routine is a procedure. Routine. Business process is a list of routines. The business fully, the company, the full organization is a collection of business processes. Routine, business process, and the company. Illustrating that, the small circles we see here, they are the routines. All of them, they are generating business process, and this is the company, which is a list of business processes. This is the full company, manifested this way. Remember that every single small circle here in this regard, it's a routine, and the routine is a process. It's a full process to run. The politics, and we said that actually the company has to resist and has to adhere to the politics set or to the standards set and followed by and imposed by the managerial department, let's say. The politics usually they are not fulfilling all the criterions of the company, all the businesses, all the processes, all the routines, let's say, all the department, maybe workers or agents or the departments themselves. So because of a list of considerations, those considerations they are personal considerations or let's say professional considerations that they lead to an issue implementing them. Department of Finance is not okay with the technical department, CIS department. So there will be conflict implementing a policy. Yet from the other side here, the conflict will be generated from the other side. We may see the resistance of a policy that can lead the company to maximize the revenue, something like that. Campus organizational change. In the same regard, the features of the organization, there is an aim, there is an goal that the company has to work for. And this aim, this goal, it has to be achieved, but based on the surroundings. The culture of the company has to build this aim and has to go for it and has to persist, making it be the daily activity purpose. Example, whatever the company is producing. So the aim is to produce what it has to produce with the quantity and the quality estimated. This is one of the games and the goals that has to be actually built from within the company or the organization culture. And this culture actually it might build strength to the company to make it more competitive in its surrounding. Not only that, it can survive struggles, it can survive issues in the surrounding. To make it survive when changes are there. This is from the inside. Now, from the consideration from the other side, which is the outside, the environment, the surrounding, there is actually a reciprocal relationship in between the surrounding, the environment, and the business to deliver. Because when we take the example of the Suq Oman last class, when we took it last class, we said that it is successful today and it has its success today due to the best technology usage, which is compatible and said to be compatible with the digital services delivered by the Suq Oman, which is the mobile devices. Mainly, the application of the system is targeting mobile devices. So thus, it got very successful, and it persisted, and it remained up to today on the market. So the environment consideration is one of the rules to follow, let's say, and thus the relationship is reciprocal. Actually, the business delivered has to it might actually be referred it might be referred as a tool to change or to influence the environment because of the digital service delivered. So there is a service delivered electronically. Thus, it might influence the environment. The work with the digital system or digital systematic view is much more faster than when you compare it with the regular work, whatever the business is. And any activity, it can be actually accompanied with different other support and utilities. Whatever the business is, whatever the activity is, depending on, it might be printing, scanning, or any other sort of support or enhancement, not only support. This is a case study that I wanted to visualize in order to read, and actually it is concerning the reciprocal relationship between the customer and the organization. From the other side, we may talk about, we kept talking about the information systems and the integration of information systems, positive side of the information systems. But remember, technology that actually they can cause problematic views to a business. If Suqaman is not delivered on a mobile device and only with specific device or other than, or let's say computers, let's say, or something like that, servers. So the success of what this Suqaman is having today, it would not be seen. It is much more smaller because the majority, if not the totality of the users of this Suqaman, they are mobile users. They are using the mobile to get into the service, the list of services. So if you just keep this constraint, which is the technology to be delivered upon only computers or servers or dedicated machines, so you are losing the loyalty, you as a business owner, losing the loyalty of the customers to your business. Disruptive technologies. The disruptive technologies, they are not, it's not only a misarrangement from the business owner to consider what technology exactly and so on, but also when events are happening, when moving a company from a location to another, when moving a business from an environment to another and things like that. So there are terminologies to be defined. The fast and the first. The fast, let's say, followers of the business delivers or things like that, or the first movers of the business. Who is going to move with the business? The follower and the mover with the business. You are a follower of the business. You are a mover of the business. So the movers, according to our book, they are the first disruptive technologies. Actually, they are the first reasons, the inventors of the disruptive technologies. The other from the other side, the followers, the fast followers, actually, they are representing a capitalized, actually, a capital to the company. They are capitalizing the technology for the company. So we are not saying that these are not accepted and those are accepted, because the movers, they are loyal customers also for the same day. So both of them, they are loyal actually, but you have to consider which line is the right. Otherwise, it is disruptive. Great, then great. Organizations, firms, and companies, they are actually classified into kinds, into types based on the nature of the business. If you are using a bureaucratic activity or not, if you are making field visits only or not, and so on. So based on the type of activity, firms, organizations, and companies, they are actually classified into teams. They are called the organizational structure. They are basic 5 structures. There is a reference for that. An entrepreneurial actually company or firm or organization, it is a sort of a small company talking about print and press, something like that, or small coffee shop, and things like that. Bureaucracy, but machine bureaucracy means you have actually still talking about, for example, small cyber cafe, small coffee shop still. But here there have to be actually a bureaucracy activity because the small cafe it has only one guy to consider or to control the financial process, the payment and the in and the out money, whatever. So this way, divisionalized also bureaucracy. It is the same scenario. It is a sort of there is a bureaucratic approach via which we see the work is going on only through bureaucratic approaches. Yet it is to consider the work and the workers as a main actor because this divisionalized bureaucracy will be classified as divisionalized bureaucracy if you are making a fortune from 500 firms or more. Yes, something like that. The professional now professional bureaucracy, dedicated activities to be done, like attorneys, bureaus, attorneys or lawyers. A fifth kind of companies through the structure here is this canon, so is the adhocracy. And this adhocracy is list of different services, amongst of them the context of the consultant activities. You are a consultant, so you may work in an adhocracy company. So based on the business workflow, those 5 kinds, they are actually presented to us. The workflow who decided how an organization is going to be classified. Still, we are talking about the features. We presented that, but still we persist on that. Is the book persistence, and we have to consider that. Every company has to look beyond a name, the goal, the target to do. The company also has a feature for the company or the organization or the firm. Constituencies, they are how the company is made up, of what the company is made, constituencies of what the company is made, things like that. The leadership styles means the company has to talk about heroes and templates to be followed. This is a scenario of a leadership style because they have to talk about precedence with successful precedence in order to continue, in order to convince the public with its new arrivals and services. Company has to have tasks to assign to its customers or to its workers, tasks. From the features also, the company has to consider the surrounding environment, the available companies, how many companies are there, where they are located, and so on. Surrounding environment, it has to be considered. Okay. After considering the environment and considering the features of the company, technology, and information systems, the company actually has to have an impact on the environment. Impact on the environment, financially and non-financially. Financially means it has to talk about gains based on the calculation of the cost and the dependencies, the dependencies, costs and dependencies. Here, at this level, the information technology that has to be actually implemented and deployed for further actions, it is to be calculated. Means if there are technologies with the same features, you have to go for the lowest. The company will go for the lowest. It is not trivial to go for any. No, it is a business to do. Any questions at this level, please?